go.
The ultimate fishing experience is brought to you by Lund Boats. This week on the Ultimate Fishing Experience, we're off to the Ultimate Fishing Camp, a camp for all ages. No matter if you fish for decades or just getting started in this great sport, the more you know, the more successful of an angler you'll become. Everything from understanding the nature of the fish you're after, its seasonal movements, preferred habitat and forage, to all the presentations and tactics available to catch them. So much to learn, so little time. One way to help speed up the learning curve is to spend time on the water with anglers who've devoted a lifetime in pursuit of everything that swims. That's what this camp is all about. So it's time to pack your bags, your rods, and your eagerness to learn. For it's off to camp you go.
Look at that, Mama. Isn't that beautiful?
Welcome to the shores of beautiful Leech Lake. We're at Chasing the Lake Resort in Walker, Minnesota. Hey, I'm Toby Kvalevog.
And I'm Jason Freed, and we're here hosting the Ultimate Fishing Camp. We've brought together some of Lund's top pros and teamed them up with anglers to learn new presentations and techniques to make them become better at the sport they love.
The next 3 days is a crash course of classroom and on-the-water instruction from 9 pro anglers with over 300 years of combined fishing experience. They will be sharing some of their favorite techniques of catching bass, walleye, musky, and more, plus how to use your electronics to find fish fast and use precise boat control to stay on the fish you found.
Jigging, rigging, trolling, how to rig your boat to be an effective fishing machine, and after a successful day on the water, a 5-step method for filleting boneless northern pike. Then each morning the participants get to put into practice what they've learned, because there is no better way to become a more efficient angler than a hands-on-the-water experience.
All the while, the pros and participants will be sharing their lifelong experiences and how fishing has become a big part of their lives.
Here at the Lund Ultimate Fishing Camp, there's one thing that we all learn. No matter how long we've been in the fishing industry, no matter how many days, years we've had on the water, we can always learn something new every day that we go out. And that's why we have these type of things. It brings us together as fishermen to share a camaraderie, but more importantly, it allows us to share what we do on the water every day. And the big takeaway here at the event, those little details added up to catching a lot of fish, seeing big fish caught, and there's things I learned from the people that I fish with, from their perspective about fishing, because the learning opportunities are immense.
The most interesting part that I found this morning is when we went with Scott. The electronics part, we spent a whole hour, we didn't even fish for our first hour and a half, just going over the electronics, the different structures in the lake, the different kinds of fish, what it looks like on the grass. It was very important for me. It seemed like I learned a lot today. Hopefully I can retain it all, because we learned so much from him. I mean, he was really a help, you know. And then when we went out fishing with him, you know, I caught a 25-incher and a 22-incher, so it was a lot of fun fishing.
Today I came up here and was hoping to learn just some techniques or what the lives of the pros are like, and I got a day full of information. All from electronics to different types of walleye fishing, planer boards, boat control, everything.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
Hey, welcome back. You know, there's many ways to become a better angler: books, magazines, TV shows like this one, but there's nothing that compares to one-on-one on-the-water experience. That's why one of the main focuses of the Ultimate Fishing Camp is to have participants spend time in the boat with anglers that have spent countless hours fishing a wide variety of techniques perfecting their craft. Tactics for finding and catching walleyes, bass, pike, and muskie, rigging your boat so you can be effective and efficient, how to use and interpret your electronics. These are a few things that these anglers will learn. Starting with me covering horizontal jigging wraps for walleye, and then Ted Takazaki on how to tie spinners, rig them, and then the proper boat control in presenting them. What we have here is we have a sand spot up here. There's several of them up here in the north end of Walker Bay on Leech Lake. But what we're going to do is we're rolling now, we're looking on the Lowrance, we're seeing sand and we're seeing tons of bait. Yes. What we need to do is find a school, and then what we're going to do is we're going to instantly drive over them, hit spot lock, anchor mode on the motor guide, and the motor guide will lock us tight, and we just turn around and pitch jig wraps right to them.
Okay.
Artificial, vertical, horizontal jig wrapping is what we're going to do. So on my setup for jigging wraps, on this setup I have braided line with a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader hooked in there direct. I have a unit knot instead of a swivel, and I just like that better. I think you get a better feel of what exactly the fish are doing. If I don't see a fish, we won't fish.
Okay.
See how definitive that is?
Yes.
And there's a triple stack. So hit reverse. I got anchor mode going. If you look behind us, we have bubbles. That's your target.
Okay.
So go ahead and try pitching a time or two, maybe a little bit to the left of it. I think we missed the fish by just a little bit, and just a little cast. Yep, not very far, and not super aggressive. Up in the sand here, let it fall. I just give it a little twitch. Little twitch. Go 2 casts, you don't get one. They're not going to bite.
Okay.
Yep. It's that efficient.
We got one.
There you go, nice and easy. Nice and easy.
Got some decent weight to it.
Nice little keeper.
Yep.
Oh, yep. And that's effective horizontal jig wrapping.
Bingo.
Nice.
Prior to coming here, I was hoping to learn a little bit more about electronics and how to read fish on a graph, and also too a little bit more on presentation other than trolling and jigging. It was a really great opportunity today to learn how to use the jigging wraps especially. I found it a very intriguing way to look after fish, knowing that if they don't hit right away on jigging wraps, I can always go back to a natural bait presentation, but I always try the jigging wraps first.
Well, Chris, one of the most important and critical lures that I would take anywhere across the United States, wherever walleye swim, is a spinner rig and a crawler. So I want to show you how to tie one up, and then we're going to attach it to a bottom bouncer. I'm going to show you how to fish with it.
Sounds great.
So the first step, you just take a piece of line. Usually I tie my spinners about an arm's length, about like this. And I'm going to select an octopus style hook. Just put right through, hold on to that, and then you wrap it back on itself about 8 times. Hold on to the knots, the wraps, take the other end right through the hole and pull it through. That's your bottom hook. You always start with the bottom hook. Then I snip off a little tag in. The next one, and usually I space the hooks just about like that, about that much. Wrap it back on itself, take the tag in and through again. So now you got 2 hooks snelled. The next step is you put on the beads and then a little clevis, an exchangeable type of clevis. And then finishing it off, I always tie a little barrel swivel to the end of my harnesses. The critical thing with the beads is to have enough beads that the blade doesn't cover up the hooks.
Okay.
So there you have it. So the key here is that when you're running bottom bouncers in general, the weight is 1 ounce for 10 to 15 foot, 2 ounces, 20 to 25, 3 ounces for 30 to 35 feet. Drop it, let it hit bottom, hold on to the spool for a few seconds, and then drop it one more time. That's good. What you really want to do is that line angle from the rod tip down to the water should be about a 45-degree line angle. And we're going to be running anywhere from 1 to 1.3, 1.4 mile an hour, just fast enough to get the blade to spin. So if you've got, too shallow of a line angle like that 30 degrees here, we're either going too fast or we don't have enough weight on the bottom bouncer.
It's interesting to see all the different boats that the pros run. They have Pro Vs, Pro V Glass, and Impact, and the Pro V Bass. The most interesting thing about seeing all those boats is how each one was rigged to meet that pro's needs.
Nice bass, Jackson, huh? Ultimate Fish Camp, man. Big largemouth bass. Jackson can catch them.
Although a good portion of this camp has been devoted to on-the-water seminars, there's been a lot of classroom sessions too.
The one I found the most interesting was Billy Rosner's 5-step fillet for a boneless pike. Check this out.
Hi, I'm Billy Rosner, and I'm a Lund Pro full-time fishing guide from up on the Lake Vermilion area out of Cook, Minnesota. And I'm going to show you how I fillet a northern pike. It's a 5-step method that I was taught many years ago. Pretty simple deal. I'm going to use a Rapala electric fillet knife. First deal you want to do, kind of keep the fish nice and flat like this. Just start behind the head. Come down like that. Hold the fish nice and flat. Just kind of glide it along here. Kind of come up behind the dorsal. So you got this back piece. Right here is a little bit top of the Y bone. This exposes the Y bones really nice. You can see it here, the backbone, and here's the Y bone right here. And I'm just gonna flip it over, start my next cut kind of right in here. I'm just gonna glide this down, staying on the outside. Kind of bring it up, cut it off. I'm gonna start with the tail, which is all boneless. And I'm going to just flip it over, do the same thing. And this back piece, it's really nice, really 2 nice strips of meat. I'm just going to come in here, make like a little V cut. Pull the skin off. You got 2 nice little boneless like back straps there. Then the skin's got to come off, of course. And there you have it. You got your pieces of pike all ready for the frying pan.
All right, now it's back out on the water with tips from Tony Roach on various walleye presentations. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have Ryan DeShane talking about slop fishing largemouth bass.
When I'm walleye fishing, a lot of times I'll spend a lot of time looking before I start to fish. I'll use my structure scan, I'll use my sonar in conjunction with my GPS, and I'll put down a lot of icons. I like to mark out the edges of the weed lines. I like to mark out rock piles. Transition lines are really important. These windswept shorelines. I don't like to just pull into a spot and just fish. It's nice to mark those spots out and then come back through and fish fast. Like today we're gonna pitch jigging wraps. Some days I might be pitching plastics, other days I might be trolling crankbaits, but either way I'm fishing fast and I'm getting to the fish much quicker by doing this rather than this slow, methodical live bait fishing.
So Tony, as we're going around here, would you say that, in the job of trying to catch fish, that is it 50 or 75% in locating them, or is it in the catching, or half and half?
I try to spend enough time so it paints the best picture of what I'm seeing here. I want to see exactly how everything lays out and how the fish are relating to the structure, so I know how to exactly work it and what techniques to deploy, what I'm seeing and how I'm seeing the fish laid out here. That one hit it hard. That one wanted the bait. All right. All right, nice walleye. Man, it's fun. It pays big dividends to drive around, find those fish first. That one absolutely smoked it. You can tell that one was hungry, huh?
You bet.
Get this back in the water.
Hey guys, Ryan DeShane here, and I'm out with Chris Brummel. He's a Thunder Bay native in Ontario on Lake Superior, and we're down in Minnesota now. And what Minnesota bass fishing entails is a lot of weeds usually. And one of the best ways to consistently catch bass is with a hollow body frog. We're gonna go through some basics on how to fish these baits and hopefully catch a fish.
Let's have some fun.
All right. Right now, Chris and I are fishing 2 different types of hollow body frogs. They're both hollow body frogs, but clearly you can see a difference in the profile. Chris has on a pointed nose frog, and then this is a popping frog. It's essentially a popping topwater lure. You can see the cupped face. It's designed to spit water, but if I'm gonna be fishing the thick stuff, I'm gonna go with a pointed frog. If I do get into a more open water environment, or maybe around trees or brush, I'll definitely try the popping frog to try to pull fish out of the cover, because that is louder and it draws fish to it. Equipment is critical to fishing these frogs, because how in the world, if I hook a 4 or 5 pound bass up in that stuff, am I gonna get it out of there? 20 pound fluorocarbon or monofilament isn't gonna do it. A medium heavy action rod isn't gonna do it. A 65 pound braid, you want a larger capacity spool rod, so when you make a long cast, you're not so depleted. So usually a 200 size works good. Heavy action rod or a heavy power rod with a fast tip, and something a little longer so you can get some leverage if the fish bites way out there.
It's Thursday morning, we're catching up with the guys out on the lake. Leech is unique in that you have a walker bay with a lot of deep water structure to fish, surrounded by water as deep as 120 feet. And the main lake with massive shallow flats and 12 to 15 foot zones and a shallow rock reefs with a max depth of around 40 feet. It's a great lake to experiment with all types of presentations for walleye, from deep water jigging, pulling spinners, to cranking on the rocks.
When we started planning this with the Leisure Outdoor Adventure Group and brainstorming ideas, the whole idea of this camp was to create an experience for our loyal customers and utilize our pro staff. And what this event has turned out to be has been an experience for not only our customers, an experience for our pro staff, an experience for us as employees, and just sharing all the knowledge that we know from a Lund point of view through our pros to our customers, and giving them and providing them with the experience of a lifetime. This has been one of the greatest events I've been part of, and we're looking forward to doing this again next year.
There we go. That's what the Lund Ultimate Fish Camp is about, to go out, learn, and catch a few fish. I've got a great crew. Jason and Todd, good net, man. We're all on the board, so it's been a great morning so far. Get this back one in the water.
Welcome back. You know, electronics have become such a vital part of angling success, and each year they become more and more advanced. We caught up with Chris Meyer with Lowrance Electronics. He's out on the water highlighting some of the features the newest units can do.
Mercury's Vessel View Link allows us to do eco mode. The eco mode will basically tell us this is the target RPM you want to run. We need to adjust our trim up, so you're just going to light up green, and everything will light up green in that eco mode, and that just learns itself over time. So once you find the sweet spot in your boat, the more you drive it, it's going to tell you, hey, if you hit this RPM, it's going to be optimal fuel economy, and you'll have to put less gas in the boat. And we can also get into the maintenance. So that's how many hours I have in my boat. That's how much life I have left on the oil before I need to do an oil change, and it'll actually send me a prompt on here that I need to change oil. And then once I've changed it, it'll give me a reset button, and then I'm back to normal, just like your cars do. So you can access all of that data from the Vessel View link box on your HDS Gen 3 products.
Keeping with the wonders of modern electronics theme, we joined Tom Newstrup for his On the Water seminar, talking about his side-by-side hummingbird setup to aid in finding fish faster.
Corey, I run 2 screens because I specifically want to enhance what I'm doing. I don't want to go over and have to find something else. I've got my Lake Master chip, and I've got, it's like a guidance system, you know, and it's showing me where direction I want to go. It shows me specific structure. I can go back in this loop right here where we saw the fish and return back. But with this is my eyes. This is what shows me what's on the bottom or suspended. I like the whole picture. That's what I really enjoy. And it's not in the way. It's very compact, and it really tells a story. I always tell everybody, you know what? These units offer me so many different concepts to do, but if I can just gather 6 different things and do them really well, my electronics is doing the job for me, and that's what I purchased it for.
To wrap things up, you won't find a better fishing event. The opportunity to fish one-on-one with some of the finest Lund pros in America, the endless amounts of fishing knowledge that was gained to help your fishing success, and the lifelong experiences shared between the pros and the participants. It truly is the ultimate fishing experience.
It's just so cool to see youngsters catching fish. I mean, just to see the look on their face, and that's, to me, it's just about as good as winning a tournament. So that keeps me going every day.
This Lund Ultimate Experience Camp has been an unbelievable experience. I mean, you talk about coming to a camp where you've got Hall of Famers, You've got guides from all over northern Minnesota fishing pike, walleyes, bass, muskies. You talk about shortening the learning curve.
Look at that, Mama. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Leisure Outdoor Adventures. It's been a fantastic week.
I was pretty excited when I found out I had Jackson for the first day of the Lund Ultimate Fishing Camp. This is a kid that I felt would really have a strong takeaway going bass fishing, learning the techniques of flipping and pitching, and that's kind of what this camp is all about, is particularly special with a young man like Jackson.
This was a unique experience for me bass fishing because where I'm from we usually light line, so there's not as many weeds. But with this we had really heavy line on, and when you set the hook they go down in the weeds and you just have to pull them out. So that was kind of a neat thing for me to experience.
When I first decided to sign up for this thing, it was, I don't know, should I or shouldn't I, but I've had 2 near-death experiences, and it was on a bucket list thing. I talked to my wife and she decided I could go, but the reason I went with, I came across this fortune cookie that had a saying in it. It says, live for the moment, because life only has one result. So if you wait for that moment, it might pass you by. So enjoy life and take up these extra opportunities when they come your way.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.